Jason's like, I'm signing off. I'm signing off right now. Hey guys,
you used to send me a text message like, Gary, topics, please.
I figured that's what happened when I if I was gonna be on that radio.
I figured Rob would be wearing his cowboy stuff.
Mm-mm.
I don't own any Cowboys gear.
Oh, yes, you do. It's on Facebook.
That was a cowboy hat. That was not a
cowboy. A cowboy is a cowboy.
I was in the Wild Wild West.
That's right.
He tried to clarify that real fast. Hey, man, it's fun. It's all good, man. You know, show you love, man. Show you right, man. Hey, welcome to another edition of Talking Sports, 12th man. Draft month is upon us, gentlemen. We are officially in April.
3 weeks away.
I'm just happy that we didn't have the show on April the 1st because there's all kinds of April Fools. I don't trust any headlines on that day, man, because I don't know what's real, what's fake, man.
I don't trust any headlines anymore anyway with this AI stuff.
That's true. That could be another case too. But initially, I still I don't know, man. They were like somebody, the assistant GM got hired. I'm like, is it true? Are they just messing, pulling our, yanking our chain? Who knows, man? But
that was April Fools that the Lakers had signed Jaden Ivey yesterday.
Oh man. And the sad thing is, there's somebody out there's going to believe that. Like, man, what you're like, guys, man.
On a whole rant. Just don't even internet on April 1st. Let's don't even do it.
Yeah. But that's why whenever you said that thing about Puka and Nakua, I was like, is that, then it's like, yeah, I had to do that. And it was actually true. Because you're kind of like, you have to be careful about what you post on stuff.
Oh, that was true?
Yeah, it was definitely true. Yeah.
Supposedly he's been in rehab for quite some time.
Yeah. Start biting chicks, it might be time.
Yeah, he's followed the Marv Albert, school of like.
That's a good one, Marv Albert.
That was good.
From downtown.
Marv, come on, bro, man. The czar of the Celebrator. Remember, he says the czar of the Celebrator. That's what he
man. He was getting that New York Knicks money. He thought he could do whatever he wanted.
Man, you're not invincible, man. Eventually, it does come back and get you.
Yes, sir.
Don't be like, man, Artie Hammer. There's a lot of guys that think they get away with some stuff, man. It's kind of disturbing. But let's do a nice gear shift, everyone. We are officially talking sports for 12th man. Welcome on April the 2nd. Again, like I said, draft month is upon us. We are super excited to talk. JQ is on, so we didn't know, touch and go. But again, JQ, how you feeling? And we got Richard jumping in. Good evening as well.
I'm good, man. Just been a long evening. Had to run around and watch some lacrosse. My daughter, which is why I got my lacrosse shirt on.
Nice.
Got some work stuff here to do, but for everybody else that talks about it, I am a Rattler. So, there we go. I know every time you normally see me, I got my Buckeye flag back there, but today we're gonna rock the true alma mater. So I'm ready to go.
Do it. Rob Ford.
Man, doing great, man. Feeling good, ready to get this party started. Had a nice dinner tonight, some good crab cakes, some asparagus to go with it. Man, we ready to rock and roll, man. Feeling good.
Gary, save us, man.
Some raspberry tea with some huckleberry honey. Yeah, we rolling.
Wow. That's not bad. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Country bastard. Say that again. No. Wow.
Raspberry tea and huckleberry honey, man. Hey, I've spent some time in Boise and Bozeman, Montana, man. Huckleberry honey is popular up there.
Wow.
Gary will tell you.
Save him, America. We got to save Rob. I'm going to go out and basically do a quick thing to save Rob, so I don't even know what's happening. Man, some huckleberry tea, man. What the French toast, man? You okay, Rob? Do we need blink 2 times, man, if we need to save you, man? Come on, man.
Man, we're doing great, man.
We're doing great.
Gary, you got to save us, man.
I couldn't have any gumbo, so I had to settle for crab cakes.
Show going.
Some huckleberry honey.
I'm going with you on the crab cakes and the gumbo because I do, in fact, love that.
Doing good. Let's get going. First topic.
Right. Oh, my goodness gracious. Huckleberry honey. I got it. Yeah, Like, I remember Huckleberry Hound even. Remember Huckleberry Hound back in the day?
Wow. Wow, Dre.
That's a throwback.
I was a big fan of that back in the day, man. I got all kinds of stuff for you guys because I'm old. But yeah, Rob is our Huckleberry. Let's go. Not pulling that out, man. See, we could be all night. But thank you, Richard, for that reference too. We appreciate you joining in as well. Really quickly, going to throw out the numbers and the pertinence, how to follow us. Again, we are on Twitter X at the number 12 THMAN Sports. Follow us on the Book of the Face Facebook, where Rich and a lot of people are watching us. And again, the easiest way to follow us as far as that is just go to facebook.com, type in Talking Sports, the 12th Man or 12th Man Sports. You'll see us. We post a lot of fun things. Rob put another mock draft out there, so we're going to talk about that. And then we are on YouTube at our another 12th Man Sports. That's kind of on the crawl. Again, another 12th Man Sports is a way to follow us as well. So, gentlemen, let's get into the topics here. We got to do some Final Four predictions for the men and the women. We're going to do a quick overview. For the men semifinals, we got UConn versus Illinois. We got JQ's favorite team, Michigan versus Arizona. The women's, we've got a classic heavyweight clash between South Carolina and UConn. That's going to be great. In Texas versus UCLA, two of the most athletic rosters in the country meeting in the desert. So let's going to talk about the first one. We got UConn versus Illinois, and we got UConn is looking to continue their historic run, obviously, and obviously Illinois breakout star Keaton Wagler is the party crasher of the bracket. Arizona dominated Purdue in the Elite Eight, and we got Michigan's high octane offense. So we've got a lot of things to discuss, gentlemen. So let's kick it off. JQ, you want to start, or you want to let Rob kind of kick in with that too, man? Your thoughts?
Well, good and damn well who I'm not picking.
You're not picking Illinois, man? Come on,
listen,
man.
I Arizona and UConn. At least that's what I hope on at least one side of the bracket. I wouldn't necessarily be mad at the Big Ten representing them not named Michigan. But Arizona's playing pretty good ball. Illinois definitely surprised me. But then you watch their path and it was like I don't really feel like they had the hardest path necessarily. The way
they've had the easiest.
They did. But I worry about UConn. For UConn, I think maybe the best thing for them was that they didn't have to play right away after that, because I felt like they would have been on a high and it would have been hard to, overcome that. I think they've had a week of that, that shot, get the praise for it, but then get Hurley to get them back to work. And just to be able to have the grit to come back from 19 down against Duke. I think it's going to be UConn and Arizona. And I'm going to say it out loud. And then it's happen, because I've been talking about how I can't pick Arizona because I ain't picked Arizona since Lute Olson.
Oh, my God.
But I don't know. I think it might be a year. I'm going to go with Arizona.
I love it. Rob, what you got for me, man?
I got Arizona and Illinois in the championship game. I think the Arizona-Michigan game is going to be a heavyweight fight. And when you look at the size of that Michigan team with Yaxel Lindenberg, Ade Murray, Morris Johnson, Elliot Godot does a fine job running that offense. He's not really a scoring threat, not a huge scoring threat anyway, but that front line that Michigan have, and you normally you think big, you think they'll be slow, but they're not slow at all. They're a fast-paced team, even with that size, and they can easily put up 90-plus points on the board. But I think Arizona offsets that size with their depth. I think they're a deeper team than Michigan, and then when you look at their two young stars, Score Pete and Braden Burries, who could arguably both be top 15 picks in the NBA draft if they both come out, and then they have size as well with Krivas. And then Jaden Bradley, I think the difference between him and Elliot Godot at the point guard position is that Jaden Bradley can run that offense, but he can also score too. And so I like their depth, and I think it's going to be a dynamic game. It's going to be a close game, but I like Arizona. And I think Illinois beats UConn in a close game too. I like Illinois' size. They're probably the tallest team in the country. And Keaton Wagler, as Andre just talked about, is probably a top 6 pick in his NBA draft. He can shoot it. He can shoot the rock. He can handle the rock. He can defend. He looks like he's 12 years old. But the interesting thing about Keaton Wagler, he was the 149th best high school prospect. So a lot of schools did not think he would be this good, including Illinois. Illinois at one point thought they were going to have to redshirt him. So he's been a pleasant surprise for Illinois.
More than a pleasant surprise.
Yeah,
Rob, I think it said that he was rated like 261 coming out of high school or something like that too. I think it was
the
even
highest
lower.
publication had him. I think 247 Sports had him at 149. So that was the highest publication.
Okay,
that had him
I saw 261. I was like, what?
Yeah.
They definitely missed on that one. Yeah.
Yep. So a lot of schools missed on him. I mean, look, Illinois thought they were going to have to redshirt him, but he came in and was a pleasant surprise. So a flat out steal. And like I said, if he comes out, he's a top 6 pick in this NBA draft. So I got Illinois and Arizona, and I got Arizona cutting the nets down and winning it all. They're just too deep and talented. And that would mean Andre will win our bracket. I think you've already won it, regardless of what happens this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, that Keaton Wagler, I mean, he shoots 40% from the three line, and crossover move. I just think the UConn Illinois game, that's going to be a good matchup. I'm going with Illinois as well in this game, in a close one. As far as the Arizona game goes, Michigan's got the bigs, and then Arizona's got the guards, and the depth. And I just think that
Arizona's not small though either though.
No, but with Arizona, just watching them, they just really impress me when I watch them play.
Yeah.
And so with that said, I mean, this is going to be a good game. It's going to be the bigs against the guards, and I'm picking the guards, and I'm picking Arizona to beat Michigan.
And I think that's a couple things to think about, man. It kind of takes you back whenever, and I love guard play too, Gary. So it kind of takes me back whenever Arizona and Luke Olson, you had, Mike Bibby, you had Michael Dickerson, you had Miles Simon. I remember that squad. That was a great Arizona squad. Remember guards just kind of dominate, man, back in the day. And then, for Illinois, you got Darren Williams. Who was the other guy? Was it D. Brown that played for the 2-guard lineup that was with Illinois back in the day?
Yep.
Again, so you kind of think about, kind of some classics with that too.
That Illinois team went to the national championship game against North Carolina.
100%. Yeah.
D. Brown and Darren Williams.
Yeah, that was a good squad too. So,
who do you have winning the whole thing, Dre?
For me, like I said, I had Arizona. That's what
I've got Arizona as well.
Yeah, so that's kind of how
Dre picked them. Dre picked Arizona from the very beginning.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. But again, sometimes whenever you're kind of picking your brackets, sometimes you appreciate good games. Because one bracket I picked Duke, and I was like, everyone, you don't really want Duke to win, but it's funny how everything kind of balances out for sure. But UConn, again, they're continuing that historic run. They've made some lucky plays. We'll talk about some controversy with, Cameron Boozer. But, I'm excited to see Illinois play again, because I like Keaton, Wagler. I like him too as well, man. So, if we get that 5 or 6 pick, man, let's go, man. Get that 6'6" guard for the Hawks. Let's go. Bring him in because I can see him line up for us, man. So what a assist.
I need that pick y'all getting from the Pels to be closer to 10 or 11 so we can justify that trade Joe Dumars.
No, man. Just might as well let that go, Rob, man. You got to let that go, man, Rob. Oh, man. Joe Dumars is going in. He's like, I'm just throwing money like I'm at a strip club, man. Throwing picks, man. Hey, let's kind of switch over to the women's bracket side here. So you got this classic heavyweight battle, right? You got Dawn Staley versus Jean Amarama. So you got South Carolina versus UConn. You got a heavyweight clash. We talk about how dominant UConn has been, since, Gino has been there since 85. They've won 12 NCAA championships. They've got the longest streak in basketball, So, again, that's what's happening. Then you've got, again, Texas versus UCLA. We got some of the most athletic rosters in the country. So, Rob, kind of do a quick deep dive as far as this, and we'll kind of kick it to JQ and Gary as always, man.
Man, does UConn lose in a national semifinal like the undefeated UNLV running Rebels? I'm going to say no. I think UConn wins.
JQ said nope.
I think UConn wins this game. Look, both of these teams are talented. Both of these teams have got some first-round picks in the WNBA draft on their roster, right? But it's Sarah Strong, I think, just got the National Player of the Year. She's only sophomore for UConn, so she's dominant in the paint. They got Sarai Williams along with Ozzie Fudd, who's arguably going to be the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft from a guard play perspective. So I like UConn in this game to move on. I think it's going to be a heck of a matchup. Arguably the 2 best coaches in women's college basketball going head-to-head. UCLA against Texas. I picked UCLA to win it all before the tournament started.
Ooh.
Man, Texas is playing outstanding right now.
Yes, they are.
And Madison Booker, and the way Texas is playing defense right now, I'm a little worried about but I'm going to stick to UCLA since I picked them at the beginning of the season. I mean, UCLA's got Lauren Betts, 6'7", Kiki Rice running the points, doing really well. Gianna on the perimeter. I mean, they got 3 or 4 top 15 picks in the WNBA, but that Texas team's playing outstanding right now.
They dump truck Michigan. Dump truck them.
Yeah. And they dump truck South Carolina in the SEC championship game too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Texas is on a roll right now. And if I didn't pick UCLA at the beginning of the tournament, I think I would definitely pick Texas. But I don't want to change my pick since I picked UCLA at the beginning of the tournament. I'm going to stick by that. But, man, I am not confident about that UCLA pick over Texas.
Listen, they did dump truck it, man. They dump trucked it, man. Let's go.
I think Texas is playing the best basketball of anybody right now. Like, they hit their stride in the SEC tournament. They have not looked back. They have listened to something on Madison Booker, and you touched on it. But I'm gonna take Texas based off what I've been seeing in this tournament. And I just don't know how you pick against UConn. Like, you're there with them, and then you look up and they've got a 15-point lead. It's like, what just happened? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I would love to see for Don to get it again, but when you look at that stat, he's got like 22 Final Fours. Like, Gino's just got a machine. It's stupid. It's hard to pick against him.
He's got multiple dynasties, 12 championships.
Yeah, like it's wild. It's from a dude named UCLA, John Wooden. It's very Wooden-esque. But I think I got to go with UConn. I mean, they're just playing on another level. But I would love to see a UConn-Texas game, just only because I think Texas is playing the best basketball. But I think UConn might have the better team. But Texas just hit their stride. Like I said, they haven't looked back. I think that would be a really fun game. I want to see Texas come off that side, period. So I think Texas would match up better against the South Carolina or a UConn in terms of style of play. Not that UCLA would best at 6'7" in the middle, but I just don't know what the athleticism that those other 3 have if it will match up well. So I'm gonna go Texas and UConn and win it.
That's what I got too. And I think it's gonna be really hard. This is gonna be a real tough one for UConn in the finals if they have to go against Texas.
I agree.
It won't surprise me at all.
I like Texas. Yeah, I like Texas too, though, man. It's tough, man.
I'm only picking UConn because of what they've done in the past, and
I mean they've got the experience. Like I said, sometimes that matters. I mean they've got they have a squad.
Yeah, I mean they got some of their best players coming back from last year's team, right? That won it all. Ozzie Fudd, Sarah Strong. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were all on last year's team that won it all. So they're definitely going to be a tough out.
Richard's got UConn and UCLA, and UConn winning. I don't think UCLA has got enough.
I got UConn and UCLA, but I'm sticking with my pick of UCLA winning it all.
Yeah, I think everybody said UCLA because they just got such a force in the middle. But when those other teams, Texas, they got just those horses that get up and down on you, and they're clamping people down. Like you're getting scores from them that you were getting the first round, 1 versus 16. Shit is happening in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. They just kicking people's ass.
Hey, I can't argue with you for picking Texas, man. They have been impressive. I don't feel confident about UCLA over Texas, but I'm only picking UCLA because I picked them in the beginning, and I'm gonna stick with them. But no, Texas is playing outstanding. Madison Booker is doing her thing defensively, man, and like I said, all the way going back to the SEC tournament, and probably even a little bit before that. They're on a serious run right now.
They are.
And then if somehow UCLA pulls a rabbit out of their ass and wins the game, you can always come back and say, "Hey, I told you guys."
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
UCLA is no slouch either. I mean, they've won almost 30-some games in a row themselves right now. I think it's 25, 26 games in a row UCLA has won. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think they beat Texas and South Carolina in the regular season. Now, it was a lot earlier in the season, though.
Yeah.
But, yeah, UCLA is on a mad run themselves.
And you got to give them credit. They handled the Duke team that was on a really good run as well, because they won the women's ACC tournament, and they came in kind of like Texas a little bit, right? Hitting the stride in their tournament, and they come in and then, that thriller against LSU, with the 3-pointers. So they have been playing good basketball too, and UCLA cooled them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I take that back. Texas beat UCLA in the regular season too.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, like I said, it's definitely kind of where you're playing now. So again, I think there's a lot of us that are picking UConn because of the experience, and again, I just like the ascent of Texas. But I just want to be different in this instance too. But you cannot argue against picking UConn, just like we talked about as far as the history and the dynasty and just the legends, the legacies that UConn has produced. So there you go from that perspective.
Well, these other teams are in it for a reason.
True indeed.
They got there. They earned their way there.
Solid one seeds, and they got solid one seeds. I mean, you got 4 really good teams. So I mean,
it's gonna be good.
And that's a good way to keep promoting it and getting people out there to watch it, because I 100%, when Michigan was beating the hell out of Tennessee, went straight to the women's and watched both of those games. So
there you go.
I
have a feeling that JQ may take a little breather on this next topic here because, Rob, I think you had all freshman team in men's college basketball. Were you referring to the Fab Five in this instance? Is that where you're going with this? Or
No. I mean the all freshman team this year in college basketball.
Okay, I want to make sure. Okay, I didn't. Thank you for clarifying that too. So go ahead and no, you're good. I needed some clarification.
I was going to turn my camera off.
Of course you were. Go ahead, Rob.
I can't put Darren Peterson in the all freshman team. He just didn't play enough games.
Cannot.
So,
Cousin ain't playing.
I got to go AJ DeBonta from BYU, Cam Boozer. What's my man name at Arkansas?
Acuff.
Acuff.
Yeah,
Acuff.
Yeah, Darius Acuff, Keaton Wagler, and Kingston Fleming from Houston. That's my all freshman team. Those 5 guys. So Boozer, DeBonta, Keaton Wagler, Darius Acuff, and Kingston Fleming from Houston. That's my 5.
I missed Boozer. I was gonna say, damn, Rob, you didn't got mad at him because of his brother's dumbass pass. Yeah, I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad at that further. This freshman class, man, is crazy loaded. I would love to know the conversation in the Pelicans front office. Man, what was you doing? Did you not know next year the freshman class was going to be this good before you made that trade? Because this to give away, and I'm not to beat up on you because what you have on, because other people have made trades in this draft too. But your job is supposed to be able to procrastinate what that class is supposed to look like in that year, and you gave away a really good pick, arguably one of the most loaded draft for freshmen in quite some time. I'm just curious. I like Joe. But, man, that's going to be a rough conversation.
If it turns out to be a top 5 or top 6 pick, then, it's definitely a bad pick. If it turns out to be 9, 10, or 11, then I think getting Derek Queen last year would be of equal value because Queen actually had a really good rookie year for the Pelicans.
Better not be no damn 10th pick. NBA, you better make that shit right. Stop effing up the Hawks, man. Come on, man.
How about you just gave us first pick like a year ago?
Man, that was freaking Zach Reach said, "Get the hell out of here."
Okay,
man.
but you still got it.
Shut up. There was no Wembley in that draft. Come on.
But you act like you act like recent history. It was like last year.
You know what? JQ. I'm not gonna start with you right now. The year we should have got the first pick was whenever Dwight Howard from Atlanta. What the fuck? Orlando. How the hell that shit happened? I'm so pissed. Don't get me started about this, man.
I think y'all
gave it to Cleveland. Guess who gets number 1 pick?
Man, it's a good thing y'all not in the same room with each other.
I'm just saying, he said it out loud like they just didn't get the number 1 pick. You could say that it sucked to get in the year with a sorry draft. I'll give you that. But you said no ever something NBA like you just got the number 1 pick last year. What you talking about?
Yeah. And Ricochet, man, he still might be a dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's like chopped liver. I'm just saying it's not like he's like a Wimby.
I said,
it's not like he's a Wimby or anything like that.
No, he ain't.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so again,
he's still
NBA,
a young player, man.
Oh, I'm not saying the world.
He's not Wimby. No. I mean, Wimby. But I'm saying,
like, if you look at the quality of the draft,
not even a whole other league. He's a whole different world.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. All I'm saying, hey, stop talking about the light skinned brothers. All I'm saying is that again, NBA, you have an obligation to make this shit correct, man. You done screwed us up a lot of times. So again, the one time we better not get a pick lower than 6. It better be 6 or lower. That's what I'm looking for. Come on.
I haven't looked at the rankings. I haven't looked at the standings. Like, it's some really bad teams though. Like some teams with some awful records. So I don't know if you can say that. Like you look at the Wizards and the Jazz and the Kings. Like there are a lot of teams with like 14, 15 wins. You know, so there's a whole lot of ping pong balls. So I was like, I don't know if you can get that mad about. Like there's the Jazz. There are a lot of bad teams. So it won't be as far of a reach as you think it is. Just looking at the bottom of the standings. I think the Western Conference standings are, the East were set like a week and a half ago, where it was just about the seeding, but the play-in bracket was already set like a week and a half ago. That's how bad the bottom half of that Eastern Conference is. So,
they're doing that.
Well, the Pelicans got the 8th worst record right now. So based on if everything stays the same, then you get the 8th pick.
That's what
if somebody from 9, 10, or 11 jumps the Pelicans, then you can fall back to like 9, 10, 11. So at the moment, if everything stays the same, you get the 8th pick in the draft.
That's what I'm saying. Don't get so upset if it's not in the top 5, because based off record at 8, if everything holds true to form, like you said, you're not going to be getting shafted by the league if you end up 8, 9, or 10, because there's some really bad teams out there this year. I mean, God.
That's why the frozen envelope better swing our way. Shorty, swing my way. Sure looks good.
The Wizards got the worst record in the league at the moment, so they got the best chance at it.
But you know what? They wasn't winning none anyway. I would still get the Wizards GM, even with that. If they end up getting it in this year, a lot of credit, because you turn those picks and those players into Trey, AD, and potentially the number 1 pick in the draft.
That's not bad.
Man. If you got a healthy Trey, AD, and AJ DeBanza, you might have something.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we can't call it yet, but you look at the moves he made to get them in this position to potentially have the number 1 pick.
They got to be healthy, though. That's the big key.
Well, that's always the thing. That's how you ended up with those 2 dudes, because you got them on a discount because of health. But
man, AD is a walking freaking,
but you also got Saul.
So
you know what I mean? So you may not. You can play Saul at the 5 and let AD play the 4 like he wants to.
And Saul's coming on too.
He is.
Yeah. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at like so they got a lot of young talent for sure for the Wizards. I'm not talking junk. Again, I'm just being facetious because again, looking at a couple of the draft positioning, I mean, I'd be okay with 6. Whenever we're talking 7, 8, 9, that's some bullshit, man. Come on, man. Yeah, come on, man. I'm just being honest, but JQ, I don't want to hear any of your nonsense talking about where this is at. You're
jinxing your team.
What'd you say?
You're jinxing your team.
You know what, Gary? I don't need it either. I don't need it from you either. I'm just saying, over there, man. I'm just saying, man.
Oh,
Go
man.
Blazers.
Y'all got Dre fired up.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I'm trying to stop you.
No, well, like I said, at the end of the day, there's a range. Now, again, if I'm jinxing my team, I could talk about we're going to get number 1 and number 2, but I'm just saying.
I don't hate the Hawks, but I don't want that pick to be in the top 5. And it's definitely going to be a bad trade for the Pelicans.
Rob even knows. At the end of the day, like I said, I would love to, my guy, again, we talked about Keaton Wagler. That's my guy. Again, Mikael Brown, I kind of like those. Rob, you didn't really mention. I know Caleb Wilson, was hurt. He would have definitely been on the freshman team, right? As far as he was, if he would have stayed healthy, right? Yeah, because that dude,
I removed him and Darren Peterson, but Caleb Wilson would have definitely been on my all freshman team if he had been healthy most of the season. But he missed about 10 games here down the stretch.
Yeah.
So those are 2.
Again, I'm just kind of looking at it.
Think about it. Those are 2 plus the 5 you named, so that's 7. There's got to be somebody who at the 8th spot that if all things hold, you still be happy with if you're a Hawks fan. Because that's the 7 right there, I would think, right?
Yeah. So right now, if you're on NBADraft.net, which is a great resource, they've got AJ Demancin going number 1, Darren Peterson 2, Boozer going 3, Kingston Fleming's 4, Caleb Wilson 5. Then they got Mikael Brown going 6, Nate Ahmet going 7, and then Keaton Wagler going 8th. Now, again, that's kind of your best scenario. Acuff was probably going to have some conversation. I think it's going to go a little higher than that.
I was going to say, what?
But again,
I got Acuff number 4 to say.
This is
I
before
posted my
the
last
tournament.
NBA mock draft
before the
on
tournament.
March 25th.
Yeah.
So March
but again,
25th, I posted my NBA mock draft, my last one, on Talking
Yeah.
Sports with the 12th man. I got the Hawks at number 8, taking Mikael Brown Jr.
Of course you do, man. But I'm not mad at that, Rob. Like I said, I'm just saying, just again, they've got Braden Burris, so they got.
Cool.
This is
I
interesting.
can't predict how the lottery's going to go, so that's why I got him at number 8.
Yeah, you're totally fine. You're totally fine. That's fair. That's fair. Again, selfishly, like I said, I just want to be in a position where we have a couple different options. Like I'd be fine with, like I said, 6. Again, if you're like going 9, 10, that's kind of shitty, man. But again,
let you go ahead. I gotta find out when.
Hey, number 9 getting 8, Nate Ahmet, man. He's an incredible ball player too, man. Great off the ball defender. He's long, like 6'9", 6'10". He can shoot it. I mean, even at 9, Nate Ahmet is a pretty good prospect.
Not talking.
He's a tremendous off the ball defender.
Let's keep this moving here. Let's talk about, again, should Cam Boozer be Player of the Year? And I think this is a resounding yes, and we're showing some love to a Duke player here. He finished with the Ken Pom rating of like 2.942, which is the highest ever recorded. You're talking about dominating, leading Duke to a 29-2 record. What is he averaging? 23 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists a game. He was the only Division I player to total at least 700 points, 300 rebounds, and 100 assists, shooting over 50% from the field. Like I said, just an amazing season from him. And is he the number 1 pick? I mean, that's still up for debate, Rob, for, I guess, if he fits your squad, whether AJ or him. I think Darren Peterson has dropped, sorry, cousin. But again, easily dominant by any era standard, if you will, for Cam Boozer.
Yeah, I think he definitely should be the Player of the Year. I mean, obviously our job is to be objective on this show. I hate Duke, but I got to give him credit. He definitely – I don't have him as the number 1 pick in the draft. I have him as number 2 right now behind AJ Demancin. But he definitely is the college basketball Player of the Year when you look at the success. Obviously, Duke had more success this year than BYU. And obviously he was on had a lot more talent around him than Demancin had. At BYU, but I think overall you have to give it to Boozer from a National Player of the Year perspective. So I agree with that. But even though I do have Demancin going ahead of him in the draft as of now.
You know what? I don't know if you guys follow Jeff Teague in the 520 podcast. It's hilarious. But they were talking about it. If Indiana got number 1 pick today, they felt like, well, Jeff said he felt like Indiana would take Boozer number 1. Because if you take Demancin or Peterson number 1, then Tyrese Halliburton is no longer really your star. That guy coming in is your star. Where Cameron Boozer comes in, he kind of plays the Robin to Halliburton's Batman. So I don't know if that's the case, but I thought about it, was like, I could see that. Now, since he said it out loud, will Indiana not do it because he said it out loud before the draft? But I mean, it makes sense if you want Tyrese to feel like he's the alpha. You know what I mean? In the room, I think Cam slides more in there with the way his personality appears to be versus a Demancin or Peterson wanting to come in and be the dude. So,
well, yeah, I mean that could be a valid point too, but also you can make the point for Demancin because Halliburton is a point. You get yourself a wing in Demancin, you already kind of got a big in Siakam, so that way now you got a big 3. You got yourself a wing, you got yourself a big, and now you got yourself a point guard. So, I mean, I think you can still make the case that Demancin could be still a better fit if Indiana gets that pick.
No, I don't think he was talking about it from a fit standpoint. I think you're right. I think, you should be drafting her for value anyway and not for the other piece. I think he was more saying that how Indianapolis and the fan base are and then the way they want to position Halliburton as a star. If you go get a Demancin, he immediately becomes the star of the team. And what does that do to Halliburton and his status with, in the pecking order? He was talking about more bringing somebody in to stay in the pecking order to keep Tyrese 1. Where if you bring in the Bansa is going to be, you know, with all the hype that comes with it, he's immediately going to take all that shine off of Halliburton. So I don't know if they do that. I just thought it was good food for thought to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, they couldn't go wrong with Boozer.
Yeah, we'll get it, Rich. We'll get it, bitch. Talk about the Banza. Go ahead and do your
Yeah.
question about the Banza too, Rich. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Boozer would be a fantastic fit for that organization as well. With his style of play, I think it would fit in really well.
And yes,
What's your
we're
question?
all number one seeds.
Yeah, what's your question, Richard? Type it into while we're going to talk about a little bit more. And somebody had a clip, guys, and this is going to take you back. They were saying how Jahlil Okafor was like born in the wrong era. You looked at how dominant that dude was. That dude was just a massive player, man, you know. So how was mission fair in his draft status? Does he have to take that mission?
No, I don't think he's really a Mormon. So, I mean, he's a Jersey kid, and BYU paid him $7 million to go there. So I don't think a mission is in his future.
Okay. Yeah. There you go, Rich. Hope that answered your question too. So, good stuff from that perspective here. And I know that we talked a little bit more about. We did a briefing about Keaton Wagler. You know, again, I think we talked about. Yeah, he was missed for sure, and that I think that happens, man. You have some people that rise and just have a certain situation in the tournament. You know, whenever there was a babyface assassin named Steph Curry that just started, you know, putting Davidson on the map, you're like, who is this dude? You know, so you know, you see how stars kind of rise. And to your point, JQ, I thought about that whenever Rob and Gary, we talk about this all the time about positionless basketball, right? So you want to draft the best player that you can. I mean, and I know before Ja Morant went crazy with the gun stuff, you know, I was like, you should have drafted him even if you had a point guard, just draft the best player. It doesn't matter, man, you know, because again,
Right.
you know, he would have been a good fit, even though now he's a little crazy, but just, you know, you saw the potential there for sure, you know. Let's talk about some transfer stuff here. We got some transfer portal shocks. You know, you got Audi Crooks, man, Ohio State. All the Cyclones are going sad over here, man. Entered the portal, and the 7'9" center Olivier Rioux from Florida have entered the portal. You know,
Olivier,
Crooks,
you got to say it like
yeah,
the French.
Olivier, yeah, my bad. Crooks was the second leading scorer in the nation at 25.8 points per game. So she's the biggest prize in the game. Where is she going? We'll have to look at that. And then Olivier Rioux. So there you go. So, yeah, what do you think about that, guys? That dude sucks, though, man. 7'9". Come
He's
on.
probably going to UConn.
There's a deal in place.
Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't
Yeah,
surprise
I mean,
You mean
he's
Crooks or Olivier?
Crooks, the word on the street is that UCLA. I mean, she's from Iowa originally, so I think she's possibly could be considering UCLA, Iowa, or Minnesota. I mean, selfishly, I like for her to go to LSU. I think that's what hurt us this year. LSU is a talented team, but we didn't have any bigs, and so we could certainly use a big down low for sure. And but reportedly, those are the three schools, and she may even enter the WNBA draft. I think that's even still in play there. Yeah. Olivier, he still is very raw, but he's got 3 years of eligibility left. You know, Gary mentioned UConn. I mean, there's no word on what schools he's looking at, but I actually think that might be a good fit because Dan Hurley's done wonders with bigs. When you look at what he's done with Donovan Clingan. When he was there, and now you look at what he's done with Darius Reed this year. Not Darius, Tyrus Reed.
Tyrus.
He's really come on this year,
Well,
right?
this is one hell of a project for him.
Oh,
yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
He's got to put some work in.
This is like I'm gonna let somebody else take over the head coaching position because I got to work with this guy.
Hurley's done a good job with some bigs that's been projects, right? I mean, the way Reed is playing right now for UConn, but if you watched him at the beginning of the season, he was nowhere near as good as he is right now, right? So I think Dan Hurley possibly could be a good fit for him, right? Well, I don't know if Dan Hurley's interested in him, but that could possibly be a good fit for him. He's from Canada, so going up to UConn will be a little bit closer to home.
There you go. Anything else to add on that? JQ, you good?
Nah.
North Carolina's coaching search. There you go, Rob. You got your whole title for you, man. Your whole topic, man.
Well, word on the street is they got Michael Jordan very involved in this, right? And supposedly he's already made the call to Tommy Lloyd, Arizona's head coach, and I think it's time North Carolina goes outside of the family. I really do.
Same the family. Same the family.
I've been on a fence on whether or not Hubert Davis should have been fired, but now that you have fired him, I think it's time to go outside of the family. And I think Tommy Lloyd, when his style of play, the up-tempo style that they play with at Arizona, he's a good recruiter. He recruits well domestically. He recruits well internationally as well. So I think he would be a good fit. I like Nate Oates at Alabama too, right? I like his style of play as well. I think he's a phenomenal coach. What he's done at Buffalo, what he's done at Alabama. He took Bama to the Final Four as well. Obviously, there's some talk about Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan hasn't coached in college for 11 years now, though, right? And so how is he going to adjust to this Neal environment after being gone away from 11 years? I know he's a two-time college basketball champion at Florida, but that would be my concern for him being away from the game for so long. So I like the idea of Tommy Lloyd, or I like the idea of Nate Oates. I mean, those would be the two guys that I would prefer. But supposedly they got Michael Jordan heavily involved. And supposedly he's going to put up some resources too.
I would say supposedly. Why are we just now waiting for Michael Jordan to put up resources? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to do really quickly, just make sure, Rich, we did want to mention that Rich, Devanso is not in Mormon, so that's why he didn't have to worry about the mission. So just FYI, I want to make sure that we got you in there in that comment as well. Good stuff, Rob, on North Carolina. Let's talk about the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL draft. This is interesting, right? Because as of whenever I was doing some research about this, guys, obviously, this is according to projections. This is considered a very weak class, as we know. It kind of reminds you of the 2022 draft where you had Kenny Pickett was the only quarterback, and that's not great going in the first 2 rounds. And then the last,
he went number 20th overall.
Yeah, and it did produce Brock Purdy in that draft. That was the only thing, but that's showing you how weak this draft was. You had a couple drafts where E.J. Manuel was the first, and that was in 2013. Jamarcus Russell was 2007, Rob. So again, you had some – it's kind of like feast or famine in this one. So obviously a lot of the top prospects like Arch Manning went back to school. Drew Lar got hurt. Cade Klubnik was terrible. So again, you're looking at the following. You're looking at obviously Mendoza, Ty Simpson, Nussmeier, Carson Beck, and Drew Lar right now, unless I'm missing something. Those are kind of what we're looking at currently for that. But I'll let you kind of defer to that, Rob, as far as some options. Man.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same 5. My order is slightly different. Of course, I have Mendoza number 1. I have Ty Simpson number 2. And I have Carson Beck 3. I have Nussmeier 4. And Drew Lar 5. So, yeah, those are your top 5. And, you go back to last year, all the talk was the 2026 draft is going to be loaded at the quarterback position, right? And it turns out to be a bust. And so, I'm saying that because now people are saying next year's draft is going to be loaded at the quarterback position. So if you're an NFL franchise, you can't rely on next year being a great quarterback class because, as you can see, things can change, once they start playing on the field, right? So you can't necessarily rely on that. So you really got to do a strong evaluation on these quarterbacks that's in this year's draft. That being said, like I said, that's the 5 that I have. I don't have Ty Simpson. I still have him going like late in the first or early second. And then those other 3 guys, I have them going in the 3rd round.
I don't even know why we're talking about him.
JQ
because it's the quarterback position, man.
JQ hates quarterback.
Yeah, but 2 through 5, you can put in any order. And which one of those do you think is going to be?
I think 3 through 5 you can put in any order. I think Ty Simpson is definitely the number 2 quarterback.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we all agree on that. Ty Simpson's tough, probably number 2.
But the rest of them are just
it's like Nussmeier. Yeah. Could we be surprised, man? That's the question, right? Dante Moore going back, that kind of hurt this draft because if Dante Moore was in here, we'd be a different conversation. Jets would be like, yes, let's go. But we talk about that too.
You think they would spell their name right if Dante Moore was in his
100%, 100%, man. J-E-T-E-T, whatever. We can talk about that. But so he probably slots number 2, obviously, over Ty, even though, Ty led the SEC, just the talent that he had around him, right? But, again, are there going to be some surprises? That's the question. You've got Talon Green from Arkansas. You got a couple quarterbacks that, again, that are projects. They're projects, JQ. So we're not saying that you're pro ready, but, you're kind of looking at potential. Same thing. You're looking at it with Anthony Richardson right now. Like, what the hell is happening with that? But some people take a little longer to develop, so who knows?
I got Cole Payton, number 6 from North Dakota
I like Cole
State.
Payton too. Yep, I like Cole Payton too.
I think he's more of a 4th or 5th round pick, at the number 6 position.
I think he should go beat the hell out of Trey Lance and Carson Wentz because everybody gonna look at that North Dakota State and say never again.
Carson
I guess
Wentz.
the big difference on this one, JQ, with North Dakota State is Cole Payton's probably not going to get picked to the 4th or 5th round. Those guys went the 1st round. I think that's the big difference.
It's true, but listen, I know I can't be the only one that looks at it and just winces, and not because of the round, just because of
Gary's wincing too. Gary's like,
yeah,
Gary's shaking his head.
I think through Aller because they were in love with that dude coming into last year. I think somebody's going to find themselves to fall in love with him again in the I don't want to say the 2nd, but I would say probably the 3rd. To me, I think he's the 3rd quarterback taken because he's got all the measurables that you want. And they were so in love with it. But then he was at Penn State and just played like a Penn State quarterback. But
I got the Rams taking a flyer on him in the 3rd round and 93 overall.
Really?
I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
well,
not
the Vegas odds on Ty Simpson to land Ty Simpson or the Jets
at like 33
at plus 40, the Cards at plus 140, Cards at plus 140, Rams at plus 400, Cleveland at plus 650, and Pittsburgh at plus 750. Those are the best odds for landing Ty Simpson.
I think if you do that, if you have not seen Poppy is just too small, and his mental.
He's undrafted.
He's going to run people off with the way he carries himself. I think if you want to get Ty Simpson, what is the Jets picking at 33, 34?
Yeah,
in the 2nd round.
They got the 1st pick of the 2nd round. Arizona's got the 2nd pick of the 2nd round.
I think you got to jump them. I don't see Ty falling past them at 33.
That's a good call, JQ. I can see that too. That's smart. Come back around
I think
and
the
get
earliest Ty goes, and I know there's some prognosticators out there think he might go in the top 10. I still think Ty is going to go late 1st.
Who would pick him in the top
2nd round?
That's because quarterbacks always artificially rise. But I agree with you. Yeah. It's going to be like one of those Baltimore moves to move back up and go get a Lamar Jackson. Not saying he's going to be Lamar. Yeah. People listening. I'm just talking about in terms of the strategy.
I would love for Ty to go in the top 10. That means a better player is going to follow the Saints.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because he ain't going 10 to Cincinnati, R9 to Kansas City, so it will have to be before New Orleans at 8. But yeah, I think most of the people in the NFL probably look at the Jets sitting there at the top, going to that 2nd day with the 1st pick, saying, if I really want Ty Simpson, I probably got to move into the mid 20s and give up a pick to to move back into the back part of the 1st round to get him. I think that's how he goes 1st round. I don't think Pittsburgh would use your actual 1st round pick on him. I can see somebody that was drafting earlier saying I got to get in front of the Jets.
Yeah. Look, I got I mentioned the Rams taking a flyer on Drew Allar. I got the Steelers taking a flyer on Garrett Nussmeier in the 3rd round, too.
I hope they do.
I'll bet you do.
Go for it.
JQB hating up. Please draft that dude.
With the expectation that he won't be a starter, obviously, at least not initially, but it take a flyer on him.
But honestly, the reason why I say that is if you do that, he's not going to play, and everybody's just going to play, and you already drafted Will Howard last year. That's potentially taking a offensive lineman or a defensive reinforcement or a wide receiver that they would have drafted in that slot by taking a flyer on somebody that's not going to play. So I'm okay with that as a Bengals fan because that's one less dude I got to worry about next year.
There you go.
That's the way you got to look at it in your division.
Yep. Just to put a wrap on that again, and Gary, I want to get your thoughts too. Pavia, Rich, is I think he's more of a undrafted free agent at this time because I really think he's
Yeah.
like 5'11" at this time. So I like the moxie because me and Gary, ever since we picked against, we were like, oh, Vanderbilt, they're gonna. So we learned that lesson. But again, he's not for everybody. I think he's got enough swag. Somebody will take a shot, but he's going to be undrafted. I fully believe for sure. So
yeah. If he does get drafted, it'll be 7th round. But I agree with Andre. I think most likely he's undrafted.
Yeah. And that shit works in college. It don't necessarily always translate to the NFL.
Because we've seen this, we've seen this prototype. JQ, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you. We've seen the prototype with like the Manziels, kind of like even Baker Mayfield had a little swag, So you have this kind of small time quarterback, like, yeah, come on. I mean, small stature. I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying, like, come on, you have to have that bravado, So it doesn't work for everybody, So you've seen that kind of prototype, if you will, too. So if you're 6'5", if you're like Peyton Manning talking shit, different. But if you like 5'11", like, man, what the hell is this, man?
but you look at Kyler Murray's struggle. You look at Baker Mayfield's struggle initially coming out. So those things are going to also work against him with being undersized and being a dick.
Yeah, that's true. You can't be both. You got to pick and choose. You got to be
pick your struggle.
Pick your struggle. There it is. The top 5 wide receivers in the draft, and we'll get to your mock draft too, Rob. I kind of like this draft because I think this is an extremely deep draft in wide receivers. It's kind of like pick your flavor, right? So again, Jordan Tyson, Arizona State. He's probably one of the top 6'2". Carnell Tate, shout out to Ohio State, man, 6'3". Denzel Boston from Washington, 6'4". Bakai Lemon, again, USA. I know you hate that, Gary. But he's like pure speed, 5'11". Then you got Casey Concepcion is an option. I like Jacoby Lane from USC.
USC.
He just seems so natural, man. He doesn't fight the ball. Some receivers kind of fight the ball, so smooth, just catch. He's like, oh, ball's here. I like him, but then also, I like Chris Brazier. I like, there's a couple guys that I like too. Zachariah Branch, But
Bell
again,
from Louisville too. Watch him.
Yeah, Chris Bell. I mean, it's kind of like pick your flavor, right? So you can kind of pick and choose where you want to go as far as, it's a really deep draft. Ted Hirsch, you got a lot of good names out there. Jamie Bernard, so Rob, I know you can kind of talk a little bit more about the top 5. Omar Cooper from Junior from Indiana, man. I got to give him a shout out too, man. So you have a really diverse group of wide receivers and kind of what you want to pick. Do I want like a wide receiver specialist? Do I want a 5'11" guy? Do I want a big guy that's 6'4", 6'5"? So I think it's a really good draft, honestly.
I was sitting next to a guy on the plane today who was an Indiana fan, and I told him, I said, man, all of a sudden y'all coming out of the woodwork. Speaking of Omar Cooper, that's why I made me say that. I said, I never seen this many people wearing Indiana paraphernalia as I do now.
There's nothing to be proud of, Rob. There's nothing to be proud of back in the day. Like, yeah.
He bought that shit when Bobby Knight was the coach. But go ahead.
But no,
this is how you guys are playing. You guys are playing
like that. Draft, there are going to be some wide receivers taken in the 2nd and 3rd round that's going to have an immediate impact. That's how deep this wide receiver class is. So, no, I totally agree. Obviously, you got some guys in the 1st round that has a potential to be stars. But I also think there's some guys in the 2nd and the 3rd round. You talked about a Chris Brazil, Bell from Louisville. I think those guys are sleepers that could really have an impact
Omar Cooper Jr.
as well. But as far as the top 5, I got Carnell Tate as the best receiver in the draft. Even though he ran the 4.54 at the combine, when you look at his route running, when you look at his hands, and you look at his speed with pads on, I think he's definitely the best wide receiver in the draft. Number 2, I mean, I know he was kind of weird at the combine, but Bakai Lemon is a straight-up baller, right? And he has a chance to be kind of like an Amon Brown kind of player. Amon Brown St. Brown. I mean, that dude is a baller. He's physical. He catches the football. I have him at number 2. Jordan Tyson is a tremendous athlete, 6'2". His brother plays in the NBA, so he can jump out of the gym. The only reason he's playing football because he's not as tall as his brother, but he's a tremendous athlete with good speed. And so I like Jordan Tyson. The only question mark on Tyson is his injuries, right? So, I mean, that's going to be the question mark that he's going to have to answer, to a lot of these teams. Denzel Boston, Andre talked about him, his size. He's a guy that's going to be a serious red zone threat. a wide receiver from Washington. And number 5, they got Omar Cooper Jr.,
Omar.
who's a cerebral player, smart
Yep.
player. I think he can play on the outside. I think he can play in the slot too. So I think he's definitely improved his draft stock. So I have him as the 5th best receiver. That's my top 5.
I can't argue with that. Hey, gentlemen, I gotta roll.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Thanks for jumping on, JQ. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. I'll holler at y'all.
All right, bro. Take it easy, man.
Talk soon.
See y'all.
Drive safe.
What do you think about Bryce Lance, Rob, from North Dakota State? I know we talked a lot of crap about the quarterbacks, but I like him a lot, man. 6'3", 209. That's another guy that I have been eyeing him. Like I said, I like guys that are natural passers that don't fight the ball. So again, I think he's a super, super talented wide receiver that you can get a little later on as well.
Yeah, definitely. He's a sleeper in this draft. I have him somewhere in the 4th or 5th round range.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
But yeah, I have him right now in the 4th round. I have him the 131 in New England overall in my latest mag. By the way, I got a 5-round mock draft posted on our Talking Sports with the 12th Man
talk about that.
Facebook page. So I got Bryce Lane in the 4th round, the 131 overall to New England. And look, and the reason why he's going that late is because he's at North Dakota State, right? So he's one of those guys that obviously with the level of competition, you take a flyer on him in the 4th round, but potentially it could be a steal for sure.
I think he will be a steal.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a senior, Rob. Started all 13 games. North Dakota State had a 12-1 record, right? Am I? That was last year.
Oh, they're a Division I double A powerhouse.
Yeah.
And just so you know, they are moving to Division I single A. I can't remember what conference they're going to, either the WAC or the Mountain West, but they are moving to Division I football.
Yeah. So, Gary, what are your thoughts, my guy?
Well, I do like this. I like Danzel Boston. I've seen him play quite a few times. Lemon, Tyson, Concepcion.
KC Concepcion. Yeah.
Those are the ones that stood out to me. But yeah, I'm curious to see how they do going up in their conference. See how North Dakota State can do when they move in and play just a little bit better competition. I think they're going to do just fine. I think they're still going to be a powerhouse. I think that's one of those organizations that they've really done well.
Yeah, right now it's all about whether or not you got the money. And if you got the money from a NIL perspective, I mean, you've seen schools like Texas Tech, BYU. They weren't bad programs. They were competitive programs, but now those schools have a chance to be elite programs in this NIL environment. So it's going to come down to whether or not North Dakota State has the boosters that's going to put up the money.
And I believe they do. There's money up there, big money.
Yeah.
Do you think, Rob, and I want to ask you, did Malachi Fields, I know he had a disappointing combine. Do you still think he's, an option here? Or what do you think about him? I know, did you have him falling a little more, or what do you think about him? I
moved him down to the 3rd round. But once again, we talk about how deep this wide receiver class. I have him at the top of the 3rd round, 66 in Tennessee overall. Like I said, I just, we talked about it. I think there's going to be some wide receivers that's going the 2nd and 3rd round that's going to have an immediate impact. Zachariah Branch from Georgia. I have him at the top of the 3rd.
Yeah.
I got Malachi Fields at the top of the 3rd round. I have Deion Burks to your Falcons at 79. I think he can have an impact in the kick return game and a receiver and playing in the slot. So there are some receivers, like I said, is going to go in the 3rd round. I got Ted Hurst from Georgia State going to Seattle.
I like Ted Hurst.
He could be a sleeper. And the only reason he's going that late is because he played at Georgia State.
Georgia State, yeah. Yeah, there's a couple like we talked about. I think we're going to double down on the wide receivers. I think we need a number 2 that can kind of, I know we got Jahad Dotson. I still think we need like a bigger guy for us, to maybe if we have some challenges, with Drake London. So we need to. We see the contract that enigma sign. So you're like, man, who got to pay this guy? So I think we're going to double down. We're going to get like a wide receiver that's going to be a slot return guy. Then we're going to get like a big guy too, like a Brazier, something like that too. But this is the draft to do it, right? Because it's so deep, man. So hopefully you can get some good picks. I'll let you do the transition to the mock draft, Rob, real quick, and then we'll talk. We'll let Gary talk about the Yankees since he's wearing some Yankee stuff too. We'll get to some last stuff too.
Yep. I'll talk about the top 10 picks, and then I'll talk about what I have some of our teams doing in the other rounds. But I got Vegas, of course, going Fernando Mendoza. They got Kirk Cousins to kind of help him along. But Mendoza's clearly the number one quarterback in this class, the best, most accurate quarterback coming into this draft. I got a Jets taking David Bailey, who's a prototype edge rusher, right? And he's a cerebral guy, too. Graduated from Stanford in 3 years, transferred to Texas Tech, had a heck of a season. So he's a smart guy. I got Unveil Reese, arguably one of the better athletes in this draft, who can play linebacker and edge. I have him going to Arizona at 3. I got Tennessee going Francis McGowell, offensive tackle from Miami, to continue to protect Cam Ward. I got the Giants taking Sonny Styles, another guy who's a tremendous athlete at the linebacker position. I got Cleveland going Cornell Tate, give them a wide receiver for whoever's going to be their quarterback. I got Washington going Caleb Downs, who's also a very smart, cerebral guy. And the Saints here, very interesting pick from my Saints here. I got us taking Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame here. You may say, well, they got Travis Achane and they got Alvin Kamara. And, Kellen Moore has already said that we expect Alvin Kamara to be on the roster and have a 1-2 punch at running back. But if Jeremiah Love is on the board for the Saints, I'm always a believer you draft the best player available. I'm taking Love, and I'm trading Kamara, or I'm cutting him, right? Because Jeremiah Love and Travis Achane will be a difference maker on offense, right? And I can see Love going anywhere between 4 and 8 in this draft. Number 9, I got Kansas City taking Spencer Fano, big offensive tackle from Utah. They still got to protect Patrick Mahomes. And Cincinnati, I got them taking Mansour Delane from LSU, who ran a 4.35, was phenomenal in pro day and the combine. And he was probably one of the few bright spots for LSU last year. Got Dallas taking Jamad McCoy, cornerback from Tennessee. I know he's coming off of a torn ACL. But, man, if he didn't have that injury, he would be a top 5 pick in this draft. You talk about he had a big-time year in 2024. So scouts are still all over him. And I got Dallas taking R. Mason Thomas, edge rusher from Oklahoma, who's one of the better edge rushers in college football last season. Give Richard some love. I got the Steelers taking Oliver Vega-Eon, offensive guard from Penn State. I've had him mocked to the Steelers probably in 3 drafts now, right? And 3 mocks. Probably one of the better guards in this draft. Phenomenal run blocker and solid pass blocker. He's a mauler. Would be a tremendous pick there as well. So I'll talk about what I have some of our teams doing in some of the other rounds. I have my Saints taking Josiah Trotter, linebacker from Missouri, in the 2nd round. Obviously, he's got the genes. Jeremiah Trotter's son as well. I got the Saints taking Caleb Tiernan, offensive tackle from Northwestern, in the 3rd round. He'll provide some depth. Not a guy we're going to be looking to start right away, but provide some depth on that offensive line. And then in the 4th round, I got the Saints taking Sam Roosh, 6'6", 267-pound tight end, solid end blocker from Stanford. And then also in the 4th, Saints got 2 4th-round picks. I got them taking Jake Slaughter, interior offensive lineman from Florida, who can play center and guard, which the Saints may need. Eric McCoy, Saints have one of the better centers in the league, but Eric McCoy has gotten hurt sometimes in the last couple of years, so Jake Slaughter will be a good fit for depth there. And the Saints got 2 5th-rounders. I got to take an Albert Regis, defensive tackle from Texas A&M. More of a 3 technique, 6'1", 295 pounds. He's a quick guy, 4.88 40 time. Had 49 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. And then with the other 5th-round pick, I got him taking Jude Bowery, offensive tackle from Boston College, 6'5", 314, ran a 5.8 at the combine. He's a better pass protector than run blocker this time. Then in the Cowboys don't have a 2nd-round pick, but in the 3rd round, I got him taking Nick Barrett, Defensive tackle from South Carolina, 6'3", 312, ran a 5.1 combine, 6 tackle for loss, and 2 sacks. In the 4th round, the Cowboys got 2 4th-round picks. I got them taking safety Bud Clark. He's from Louisiana, actually, but played at TCU, 6'1", 188 pounds. A fast guy for a safety, too, 4.41. Had 15 interceptions in his career. I think he's a sleeper in this draft, too. I mean, he reads the ball really well in coverage. And then in the 4th round, another sleeper in this draft, Jeff Caldwell, wide receiver from Cincinnati, 6'5", 216 pounds. At that height, he ran a 4.31 40 time. He had 6 touchdowns last year. He's a little raw as far as running routes and things of that nature, but his athletic ability is worth the flyer in the 4th round, right? And then the Cowboys have 2 5th-round picks. I got them taking Bryce Boucher, linebacker from Oregon, 6'1", 230 pounds. He had 136 tackles last season, ranked 6th in the country. I think right away he can come in and contribute as a special teams player. And then I have him taking Damon Claiborne with the other 5th-round pick. Another guy going to be a sleeper, running back from Wake Forest, 5'10", 188 pounds. Ran a 4.37 40, had 10 rushing touchdowns last season, and was 2nd team All-ACC. The Steelers, I got them taking Jadarian Price, running back from Notre Dame in the 2nd round. The top 2 running backs in this draft are from Notre Dame. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
So Jadarian Price, 5'11", 203 pounds, ran a 4.49 40, had 11 rushing touchdowns. He's a great kick returner, too. He ran 2 kick returns back for touchdowns, and he had 2 receiving touchdowns. The Steelers have 3 3rd-round picks. I got them taking Treydon Stukes, defensive back from Arizona. The interesting thing about him, he can play corner and safety, 6'1", 190 pounds, ran a 4.33 40. I already mentioned I have him taking Garrett Nussmeier in the 3rd round, 2 quarterback from LSU. Got him taking Carver Willis, interior offensive lineman from Washington, 6'5", 303 pounds, 5'11", 40. Very impressive run blocker, needs to improve his pass blocking. That's why he's going in the 3rd round. And then in the 4th round, I got to take in Jazon Stribling, 6'2", 207-pound wide receiver from Ole Miss. Ran a 4.36 40 and 6 touchdowns for Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. And then in the 5th round, I got to take in Demetrius Crownover, 6'7", 319-pound offensive tackle. Wow. He's a converted tight end, so he's a solid athlete as well. And then also in the 5th round, I got him taking Zarian Harris, defensive tackle from Ole Miss. This dude is 6'8", 330 pounds, coming off a foot surgery. Had 58 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, an INT, 3 pass breakups. Obviously, at 6'8", you would expect that. And he blocked a kick on last season. Needs to know how to use his height as a defensive tackle. Still working on his leverage from that standpoint. But that's why he's going late in the 5th round. Then the Falcons, I got him taking Brandon Siss, cornerback from South Carolina in the 2nd round. Man, you talk about a tremendous athlete, right? So teams are going to still a little raw as a corner, but his athleticism is unmatched. There are going to be a lot of teams lining up to take him. I got the Falcons taking him in the 2nd round. I already mentioned Deion Burks, who I think will be a good receiver in the slot, 5'10", 180 pounds, 4.3 40, had 4 touchdowns at Oklahoma. And then in the 4th round, I got the Falcons taking Justin Jolly, tight end from North Carolina State, 6'4", 241, good receiving tight end. Had 49 catches, 7 touchdowns last year, and he was 1st team All-ACC. I know that was a lot.
Hey, on our 2nd, 4th round pick, I was writing it down. That was a wide receiver from Cincinnati. Is that?
Yes, Jeff Caldwell, 6'5",
Yeah.
216 pounds.
Yeah.
Ran a 4.31 40 at that height, and he had 6 touchdowns last year. But he is a little raw.
That's some speed there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Rob, we always appreciate you taking the time to do the mock drafts. I mean,
Richard liked your
yeah,
draft.
Richard liked the picks. Yeah, he liked the picks from Pittsburgh. I mean, we always appreciate it. Obviously this is good. You've seen a lot of drafts. So, I mean, I'm looking at kind of, what's the deepest positions and kind of what you kind of need, because will there be a run on a couple people, Rob? Tackle doesn't seem to be that deep of a position, so we'll look at that. Cornerback is a good situation too. I don't know where we're looking at. Again, they've done a lot of stuff in the free agency, so we'll see what they're targeting. Are they targeting the defensive tackle? Are they targeting quarterback? Are they targeting, a tackle? I mean, we'll see. But I definitely like the Brandon Cease pick. I think he's pretty tall too, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
No more
He's got
midgets.
Good size, good length too.
Yeah. We don't want any more midget cornerbacks. And then we just got Mike Evans out of the division, so we need to get another. I think we need another 6'5" receiver just to kind of like compete as well. But that's me. So Gary, you're pretty happy with the picks that Rob?
Oh yeah, like the first 3 picks at 12, 20, and then in the third round, it's defense. That's what we need.
I got your first 4 picks defense too. Even Bud Clark, safety from TCU. Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
I think could be a sleeper.
Yeah,
I like Bud Clark a lot.
Yeah,
we'll talk about a couple of things here, Rob. I appreciate you.
I do too. I'd love to have him on the team.
I appreciate Rob you giving me a shout out for the Falcons new uniforms. I was expecting us to have the red helmets. I'm a little disappointed from that perspective, the red helmets with the black jerseys and the white pants, because I think those are classic, unless they're trying to reserve those for special occasions. I'm a little disappointed. I mean, again, I've heard some people, some fire, they're more red, kind of a nod back to, a little old school, if you will. I would have loved it. I don't know who kind of designs these, because I would love to go back in time and say, you know what, whenever we had the red helmets with the red jerseys and the gray, like back in the day with Steve Barkowski, that was a good look. We don't need to go back to grit splits time for Jerry Glanville, but that was unique too, right? The black helmets, black jerseys, and the gray pants. I mean, again, I just have questions, man. I mean, there's so many different looks, man, and every team can talk about their jerseys and what they feel too. But I mean, I think they're okay. I mean, again, I was hoping that we'd get the red helmets, but that did not come to fruition. We had the all white, all red. Then we had, the white top with the black pants. So, it is what it is, man. So yeah. Everyone is silent on that. Gary, yeah, go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead. I don't know if you want to talk about.
I agree with you. I like some of the old school uniforms that the Falcons, especially when you talk about the Glanville.
Remember those?
Yeah. Those were cool. I'd like to see
splits. That. Yeah,
but too legit to quit days. Huh?
We were so bad. I mean, they were bad. That was Andre Bruce was the #1 draft. It was so terrible. But again, that's whenever you kind of want to bury that. They're like, I don't think we want to, they want to rehash that. But yeah, it was like we were just bad and black. It was just kind of like, we had the swagger. So. Again, we kind of had the Raiders kind of look with the black with like the gray pants. So, it's just unique, man. I'd love for us to kind of have. I don't mind the white with the red numbers. I'm like, there's other ways I would have gone with that. Maybe go white with red. Gray or silver pants, black helmet. Whenever we play Madden, Rob, I would create different jerseys all the time, and I was like, this is a great look. They should have me, because I would admit I'd have some great combinations, man. So this is not what I expected, but it's what it is.
Man, I know JQ was off the call, but man, OKC is just dump truck.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the NBA scores.
Yeah, JQ's like I'm out. Before we talk,
I got no
like Christmas
right
time.
Now. I was like 99 or 61.
It was like I opened my biggest gift at Christmas time, and there it is. The Lakers getting beat down. Thank you, Santa.
You should go ahead and send up a text, Gary. Talk about
the Pelicans are beating the Blazers by 4 points, but that's not going
it's just halftime. Still early.
Hey, I've been very happy with my Blazers.
They're in the approved ball club for sure.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I told Andre at the beginning of the season, my prediction. was almost exactly where they're at right now. They're going to be battling for the play-in, which they are, and and they're playing good ball.
I remember last year in the offseason, we laughed at Andre when he said the Hawks were going to win 60 games. I mean, I don't think they're not going to win 60 games, but they got a chance to get – well, the most they can get is 49 right now. But the Hawks playing good ball right now, though.
We're the second best team next to the Spurs, and OKC. We're playing. We're pretty hot, man. 18-2 in the past 20 games. I like the progression. I'll be honest. I thought having Porzingis and Trey was going to change us. I was like, man, we finally got a squad, and getting
and not neither one of them on the team.
Walker. I thought getting Alexander Walker was a good back. I was like, man, we got the bench. And like you said, Rob, you're like, what just happened? This is not on the bingo card at all. But I will take it. Again, so you're adding pieces. Getting McCollum is kind of a perfect. Shout out to him from the Blazer time, and he played for the Pelicans too, Rob. So getting him was a great piece to kind of solidify. Some more scoring punch. We still need a point guard, so that's why I'm looking at the Kingston Flemings and the Wagler. So then we need a big guy, because we need like a big ass 7 foot 6'11" just shot blocker. That's what we need. But I don't know, man. Those are harder to come by for sure. But really proud of my Hawks, man. Rob, I want to ask this question real quick, and then we'll talk about the Yankees. Was that true that Kirk Cousins signed a 5-year, $172 million? Now we know it's like guaranteed like $20 million for the first year or something crazy like that. But was that like when I saw that, I was like, what? 5 year, 172? What the fridge? What? His age?
No, I think his contract was just a 1 year guarantee.
It was one. Yeah, there's something. I saw some things. I was like, was that what? Well, I was looking at too. It does include the fully guaranteed $20 million 1 year deal, and then the club option and whatever. So let's look at that. I just want to make sure I was reading a couple things when I saw that deal. I'm like, well, what? So I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
A couple things. I don't know if that was.
I'm surprised that Cousins signed with him. I really am.
Well,
no place,
not
they pay the
surprised
money.
because it looked like all the starting jobs have gone. So he kind of, when Joe Flacco went to Joe Flacco was hoping for an opportunity to be a starter, and looked like all the teams had settled on who they wanted to compete as a starter. And obviously he played for Clint Kubiak in Minnesota. Clint Kubiak was his quarterback coach when he was in Minnesota, so he had a relationship there. So I don't think it's a big surprise.
It is, just for the simple fact that I really thought that he wanted to go. Like you said, the starting jobs dried up. I'm just surprised he went with the.
Now, I think Gary that he was waiting to see what Aaron Rodgers was going to do, and once it does kind of seem like Aaron Rodgers, this is for you, Richard, is going to re-sign with the Steelers. So I think that was the one opportunity. They probably talked and was like, hey, man, what are you going to do, man? What you going to do here, man? So whenever Aaron kind of indicated he's probably going back, then he probably pivoted to the Raiders, and they can pay him that contract, as Rob said. So it's kind of kind of fits. Mendoza is not going to start, that first week. He's probably going to start a couple weeks after that, kind of let Kirk settle the ship and go from there. That's what I think, honestly.
Yeah.
But
Andre, to answer your question, that 5 year, $172 million, that is actually the contract. But only the first year, $20 million is guaranteed. So he won't see that. I don't seriously doubt he'll see that 5 year, $172 million.
5 year. I saw that. I was like, wait a minute. Somebody's got to check me, because I thought it was
how
like
old will he be in 5 years?
40. He'll be 42. Something crazy like that.
He's 37 right now, so
yeah,
he won't. Okay. He won't see
that. I was like, his agent needs to be in the Hall of Fame, man, because that dude, that dude be getting guaranteed money.
Well, really, to get $20 million guaranteed as a backup, I mean, that's a good deal, even for 1 year.
This dude is like stealing money, man. Come on, man. Bye, Kirk.
I'll even mentor him a little bit. I'll pat him on the butt, and we'll make him a good player. We'll help him out, whatever we can.
I mean, I was a fan of Kirk, but then Kirk,
Well, he was your best quarterback last year.
I'm not gonna talk shit. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying
He gave the
he's
Falcons
better.
the best chance to win last year.
He did. I mean, because I still think that Zach Robinson kind of torpedoed the offense of Michael Penix Jr. But whole nother conversation. But yeah, he's got more experience. Of course, he's gonna play better. And
Right.
whenever we're 6-3, and until he got hurt at the Saints game, that's a whole nother. And that's what I got to talk about, man. Freaking Caleb McGarry slipped, and your boy Target just destroyed Kirk Cousins, and ever since then, never the same. I think it was Curtis Gradison just hit him. He Caleb McGarry slipped. He had a clean shot on Kirk, and ever since then his arm was never recovered, man. Gary, Yankees are off to a hot start, man. What do you want to talk about, man? It's all you.
I'm happy that they're off to a hot start. I just don't want it to end the way it's been ending for quite some time. When you get into the playoffs, and I know this is early, and then you underachieve when it counts. This is great. This is great news. You want your team to a hot start, and you want them to, win these games. But then you don't want you want Aaron Judd to be that guy. But then when you get into the playoffs, and damn well he's not even going to get a hit to drive in a run. It really pisses you off. And the days when I long for the days with the Yankees when they would go out and there would be whoever the marquee free agent was at the time. Steinbrenner would go out and he would get those people. And we knew they were going to be a Yankee as soon as they went on the market. Now you got players running from them, going to other organizations. They're not even keeping some of the talent that they had. So I'm happy that they're where they're at and they've made some decent moves. But until I see this organization do something in the postseason, it's all for nothing.
Well, yeah. I mean, Aaron Judge has yet to deliver in the postseason. To your point, Gary, he didn't deliver in the World Baseball Classic either, right? And the pitching has been outstanding for the Yankees to start this season. So that's been a really good, bright spot. And the good thing is there's more pitching help on the way. Garrett Cole should be back, I believe, at the end of this month. And then Cologne also should be back here in a month or two. So this team could be really strong from a pitching perspective this season, better than what we actually thought this year, right? So I think there's a really good chance. I know it's only 6 games into the season, but there's a really good chance that this Yankee team could be in the World Series this season. And then from that point, you never know what happens. Yeah, Carlos Rodon and Garrett Cole, Yankees still got them coming back into that rotation.
Yeah, if they stay healthy, they can get to the postseason. That doesn't automatically just put them in the World Series. When you've got players that we want those Yankee clutch bats to come alive. We want those to come alive in October and win in October. That's what we've been used to. That's what I've been used to most of my life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not seeing it. I love the organization, but if for some reason they don't do it this year with this hot start that they've had and what they've got coming up with people coming back in and healthy, and if they can stay healthy,
Yankees suck.
If they don't do it this year, then they're gonna have to do something with the whole front office, their managers, everybody. Boom, bye-bye.
Richard's dogging out our Yankees here.
Oh, he can dog him out. Well, he's a Cubs fan,
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Richard. You're a Cubs fan. You can't dog out
The
anybody.
coolest thing of Budweiser. What was that? Harry Carey. Hi, Harry Carey here. Oh man, I got some stories about that. We'll have to share those a little later off here, Richard.
That'd be the only team I think that the Yankees could beat is the Cubs now.
There you go. Oh, shots fired. I'll let you guys do your last topics before we wrap up here. I do want to talk about your last topic about should Indiana be concerned about Josh Hoover's turnovers. And Sonny Dykes, the coach for TCU, basically made a comment that, Josh turned the ball over 42 times in 31 games. And I like what Cignetti said. He basically said, hey, Josh gets here because he's coming into an Indiana team that had the lowest turnovers. Only had like 17 turnovers last year. Appreciate you, Rich. And I like what he said. Kirk said, Josh got here. He met his two new best friends, a great defense and a really good running game. So, he was never the same after that. So he kind of let everyone know, hey, I'm not going to let you, Josh, just go willy-nilly and just be throwing the ball over. You're going to trust the process, if you will. And we're going to have a running game. We're going to have a great defense. Josh, we're going to put you in good situations. So I think that's what good coaching does, right? They basically put the player in a position to be successful.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, he did have a lot of turnovers at TCU. But he can really sling the football, though. You got to give him a lot of credit. He had 42 turnovers and 31 starts at TCU. He had 33 interceptions in 31 starts. But last year, he was a little bit better. I think he threw 13 INTs and he lost 2 fumbles. So he had 15. But he
15.
threw for almost 3,500 yards and 29 touchdowns. So when you look at 29 TDs versus 13 INTs, I mean, he almost had a 2-to-1 TD to INT ratio. So a lot of those were in his early career. He did show some improvement, and I would expect him to have another year of improvement under Kurt Cignetti too.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I want to talk about is what Richard's saying right here, and maybe we could do college baseball next week for one of our topics. But Richard and I were talking about Oregon State. They're number 9, and they've got
Georgia Tech. My Georgia Tech baseball team is on fire too. Keep going. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, hey, that's great. That's good for them. I think we should bring this up.
Oh, okay, yeah, because they whipped up on Auburn, which is pretty one of the top teams too. So again, they're ranked number 3 right now. James Ramsey, the coach, love him from Tennessee. Get some good, what's his name? There's my guy, Van Lackey, I want to say the catcher. That dude's been playing well too.
I definitely think number 9 is low for the Beavers.
Yeah, and it could be right. They're probably low because they're not in the conference right now. So as far as the conference, Oregon State has always had a real strong base. I mean, I follow college baseball pretty heavily too, especially since LSU's won 2 out of the last 3 titles. Even though we're kind of off to a slow start this year. But I do follow college baseball quite a bit. Texas has been outstanding. And they're number 1 in the country. They got a big-time series this weekend against Alabama, 2 top 5 teams. But, yeah, Oregon State has definitely historically always been good in college baseball. So I'll be interested with them going into the new Pac-12 next season as well, getting back into a conference.
Yeah, look, I know Richard, he wanted JQ to be on here when he mentioned his baseball comments, because JQ's always saying something negative about Oregon State when Richard's brought him up in football. And hey, Richard, rightfully so, Oregon State sucks. I'm saying, Oregon.
You're gonna root for who you root for too. I mean,
but I'll tell you, that's right. Yeah,
man. Okay, we're about to be up by 40 on these people.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to really throw out the top QB candidates for Heisman. Rob, Jeremiah Smith, I think from Ohio State is probably top. Is Malachi Toney an option too? Coming from a 109 catch freshman season. Ahmad Hardy, running back from Missouri.
Yeah.
I have him.
Those are 3 names I had.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about as far as that, So
Yeah.
those are the kind of
Only-
non-QBs.
Those three names, I mean, I would put Jeremiah Smith number one, especially
Yeah.
since he's got a good quarterback coming back, and Julian Smith. Ahmad Hardy got out to a fantastic start in Missouri last year, first 5-6 games. Kind of slowed down a little bit once they got in the SEC play. So he's going to need to have that kind of a year through the SEC season for him to be. But Malachi Tony, you saw the impact he had, especially in college football playoff. So I think he'll be in that conversation. And another name I will mention is Ryan Williams, wide receiver from Alabama. He took a slight dip last year, his sophomore season. But his freshman season, he was outstanding. Oh, Luka Doncic's out, will not return, left hamstring injury. But Ryan Williams is a tremendous athlete, had a dynamic freshman season. He was almost as good as Jeremiah Smith, but he fell off a little bit last year. So I would throw him in as a sleeper, possibly having a bounce back season on next year. So yeah, that'll be the only other guy I will add to the three you had already.
Yeah. Again, I appreciate the college baseball because we're excited. UCLA, you said, is number one. Was it Texas or UCLA? I was looking at the rankings here.
Texas number one in college baseball right now.
They flip flop, and then UCLA is number two. Georgia Tech is at 3 with 22-5, man. So let's show us some love. I'm excited about my Georgia Tech squad too, man. Obviously, LSU was projected to be pretty high, but I think they're not ranked as. Are they not ranked? LSU, Rob? What happened? Did they drop?
They're not ranked at the moment. They're off to a slow start this year.
Okay, you said that earlier. I just didn't see them. Normally they were like pretty high last year, so I was kind of looking at see what happened, man.
But
okay,
they won a title last year. They won 2 out of the last 3 years.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, all right.
And they were preseason number 2, and now we're unranked.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I was like, Lord, they're not ranked at all, man. That's tough. All right, 22-5. All right. Anything else you want to talk about, Gary, before we wrap up?
No, I'm good. Go Blazers, 67-67 against Rob's Pelicans.
Let's go, Pels. I'm about to watch that game.
Let's go. All right, gentlemen.
You better get some rest. You got work tomorrow, don't you, Rob? You off tomorrow?
That's Good Friday. I'm off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're gonna watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. How y'all feel about Tuesday night next week? I think that's about the only night I can do it.
Tuesday
that's
night.
Fine.
Works.
I'll be coming in hot. You know the drill.
Okay.
We could go. Let's do 11 then. That way.
Yeah. Give it time. Man, Braves whipping up the Arizona Diamondbacks 12-1. Let's go, man.
Nice.
So Tuesday at 11.
I went to the Diamondbacks game in Phoenix Tuesday night.
Yeah. Good stuff. Rob, wrap this up, my guy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Talking Sports with the 12th Man. Fantastic show. We want to hear from you guys. We'll be back at you on Tuesday night. Follow us on Talking Sports with the 12th Man, and we'll keep you posted on the time. Of course, we're going to recap both the men's and women's championship games on Tuesday. Obviously, more NFL draft coverage. We'll start to focus on the transition to the NBA playoffs as well. Major League Baseball getting started. So we still got a lot to talk about in the sports world. And, of course, we got to talk about some college baseball for Richard's sake. In Oregon State and Georgia Tech and Texas and all of them in the college baseball world. Have a good night, everyone. We'll be back on Tuesday night. Tune in. Tap in.
Shout out to your fams. Keeping everyone in their prayers. So again, hope everyone has a safe and productive April. And man, as JQ says, go Chargers. A lot of love too, man. So let's keep it going, man. A lot of love. Gentlemen, have a great week. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Have a great Easter.
Have a good one.